What is going on? Uh-oh, that's water. That's not.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, there
Oh,
it is.
thank goodness.
Darling. Happy Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Tonight's is not going to be where did Xavier's booze go, but it's who switched Xavier's booze with water.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, no, folks. There's been a mystery.
I'm so glad that we finally started a weekly mystery series, Xavier. It's like we've been
That's
waiting our whole
precisely
life.
that's precisely kind of what we've been meant to do is start a mystery show, a murder mystery show.
Murder? Who had it? You
Yeah.
didn't put murder into this.
Oh, I did. I was thinking something like our own That's when you say a mystery show. That's what I think of. I think of like Agatha Christie.
You think of murder.
Yeah, something a murder she wrote. We can walk around with big hats on typewriters.
Luckily, I have these on my wall.
Oh, you always
Murder.
props. Yeah. Oh, see, there it is. My natural.
Murder.
Did you say murder?
Who murdered Xavier's booze and turned it into water?
Womp womp.
That is not a very Christ-like miracle. You know what I'm saying?
Opposite. Well, if it was one. uh, I'm excited for everything we're doing tonight.
I am too. I mean, it has been a week.
I mean, what a week, right?
It's been a week.
They're gonna like talk. They're gonna talk about today in a history book somewhere, and this week in a history book, and it's gonna sound really dumb.
Like, it's gonna sound really. When you open the history book, it's just gonna like turn into flames. It'll be
yes.
Well, the history books won't even be able to handle the stupidity of it all.
There'll be whole chapters missing. And today will be amongst one of the days that, this week will be in the week that just didn't exist.
From your lips to God's butt. That's how that saying goes, right? I think that's how that saying goes.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Well, speaking of words,
I think so. That's what the rumor says.
Yeah, that's what the rumor mill says.
That's what the rumor mill
From your lips to God's butt. So speaking of carefully selected words, I wanted to give a bit of a recap as to what happened this week in Exponential Festival, because that's a great
you had the whole festival
going on. It started. We're in it.
You're in it. You're this beginning. How were the first shows? How's it been going?
They were amazing. And so since we have such a packed, gorgeous show tonight, I carefully selected 3 words per show that I've watched thus far, which has been 6 shows since Thursday. And you can watch
them give us a quick snippet of what show, 3 words that give us a flavor of each show of the 6 shows you've seen.
Exactly.
3 words. I love it.
That's it. Only 3. So they got to count.
I love it.
All right. So theater in quarantine was Thursday night, and all of these you can watch on the Exponential Festival YouTube ongoing unless we get kicked off for some reason. So right now they're all there.
I enjoyed the theater in quarantine. That was the man in the room with the last week. Oh, yes, such great stuff. What are your 3 words?
My 3 words for that show: dazzling, virtuosic, eerie.
Ooh, yes, I would agree. Just the snippet I saw, I would agree with all 3 of those.
And then on Friday night was Sunny Hits on View WFH. And the words that I would use for that are emotional for me. The content wasn't necessarily overly emotional, but I felt a lot of emotions.
You.
Oh, and Outskirt is saying that they missed the last word. The last word for theater in quarantine was eerie. It's a hard word, Chai, as you know, like eerie. Being an audio engineer, words that are mostly vowels are hard to hear, but eerie.
Oh, eerie.
Eerie.
That makes sense.
Right? It was. Oh, But on view, WFH, emotional for me, connected and
Mhm.
engaging.
Oh, I love all
Um,
that. I love it,
and I
and
love that
everything
they're
I I think it's good to be emotional. It's good for a piece to touch you, find a place to touch you. Yeah.
right. I used to be a hard young man, and now I'm much softer in my old age. And I like to be affected by the things
Yes.
that I see and hear.
I think it's also I think that that's beautiful if you enjoy being expected. I tend to get caught off guard when I'm being emotional. Like I tend to be like, "What is going on here?" Like, so I think if something reaches and grabs you, you got to run with it. You know?
And you can still be caught off guard, but then run with it. Just
Oh
like
yeah, but I'm talking like I'm watching a superhero TV show, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my God, everyone really appreciates the work Batman's doing," and like it's for no reason. It's like, what are you doing?
then you're like, let me just
And
write this down for my therapy session later.
let me just write it down. Yeah, exactly.
So
You
then,
see what other shows do you see?
yes, last night was 3 shows. So
Okay.
Virtual Queerality by Theresa Braun, who we had on the show last week. Uh, my
Yes,
3
we
words,
saw the virtual space.
uh, mm, love Theresa Braun so much. Exuberant,
Oh, so good.
expansive,
Yes,
inquisitive.
yes, yes.
And you'll watch these and then you can either agree with me or not. But, these are my
Oh, I
official
agree. I
3
love
word
hearing
reviews.
creality is expansive. So I just appreciate that we're hearing those together because it's just, it is, creality. Like I kind of want that to be my like middle name.
Yeah, Xavier Queerality Rice. I love
Yeah,
that.
or a
That's really
business,
good.
it's bad business name on my business card. What am I about? Creality.
Expansive queerality, which is redundant because yes, it's
Expansive.
expansive.
Yeah,
And then a bluish fever dream, which was Kenny Joe and Keenan Ta. Oh, transporting, phantasmagoric, energizing. It
I
was
love
like
it.
Xavier, you have to see it. It was like bananas, Teletubbies. Like, I'm gonna send you the link. I'm gonna send you the link after this.
Send it all
It was
over. I love the festival.
mm.
I can see all of these online. Yes.
Yes, you can watch them all as they premiere. After the premiere, you can watch them on the Brick YouTube. Not the Brick.
Brick
I'm a
YouTube.
liar. Oh my gosh, I have too many projects at the Exponential Festival YouTube. But
Absolutely.
or send me a message. Send me a message, and I'll send you direct links. And then Tina Wang was also on Saturday night, and Tina's piece I would describe as mesmerizing, mighty, and
Oh,
moving.
yes.
And I didn't mean to
Oh,
have
I
all
love to
M
see what
words
Mighty.
there, but they all work.
It felt like an M show.
And then finally today,
Mighty.
I got to watch Look Out, Shithead, which was Object Collection. And I just love saying, Look Out,
I love
Shithead
them.
was today. And it was
They have the
precise.
best shows and show titles.
Oh, yes, I could not agree
Yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah.
It's my favorite title to say. I'll continue saying it forever. Look out, shithead. Um, precise, infinitely layered. That's 2 words, but I hyphenated it. So precise, infinitely
Fine.
layered, and enchanting.
Ooh,
Mhm.
I love precise and intimately layered, right? Infinitely layered, because that's a lot of preciseness then. If you're,
It's also very intimately layered.
ooh, I
Intimately layered
intimate
might be better
layers,
than infinitely. Intimately, infinitely layered.
intimately, infinitely layered,
Yeah.
infinitely layered, intimately, infinitely. Blah, blah, blah. I can't do it. Why can't I do it,
Yeah.
kids?
Intimately, infinitely layered.
Mm.
It's the booze, the booze. The booze hurts the
So
diction.
is the so if I want to check all these out, I can go to the exponentialfestival.org, or I can check the YouTube link. Yes?
Yep. There are many paths
Awesome.
to one location. You can go to the website, you can go to the YouTube, you can send me a direct message on Instagram and I'll send you links, whatever the hell you want. There are many paths. All right, so let's
We're many
get the
paths. I love it.
show on the road. Oh, you know what
I
though? We have
love
to
it.
start with something.
Who?
We're starting with something very special, and then we'll get into our first act. But
Great.
last week I figured out some things for you with my 17 magazine style quiz. This week we're going to figure some stuff
Oh,
out
I
for you
love
uh,
magazine.
via the very important and accurate game MASH.
Ooh,
So
I'm so excited. All things are known true through MASH.
exactly, and so we just want to get to the truth. That's what we're doing. Is we're getting to the
Okay, I'm
truth.
down with it. MASH
So
will
all
help
you
you
have
find the
to
truth.
You only get to list one option. I have taken
Okay.
some advice from some of your close friends. And
Okay.
so in all the categories, we've chosen 3 for you, and you get to choose 1.
Okay, great.
So
Great.
we'll just
I'm excited.
crank through these, and by the end of the show, we'll have answers. All right.
Okay,
So
I'm ready.
for a life partner, the options that
Life.
are already on the plate for you are John Hamm, Clark Kent,
Okay.
and John Mellencamp.
Uh,
So you get to choose a 4th.
um, you know what though? I can already. You said Clark Kent, and I didn't even need to flinch. Like Clark Kent, like if he's actually Superman at night, like I don't need a guy from Iowa named Clark Kent. But if we're talking actually Superman's alter ego, I am sold. Winner, chicken dinner.
Well, you don't get to choose between these. Fate will choose. You have to give me a 4th option.
Oh, that's right. That's how I don't get to choose. Oh, nightmare. That's right. Okay, I forget how to
This
play this
isn't a
game.
quiz
This
like last
is one of the
week.
back of the bus games. In there.
All right. So
So then I will add
you get 1.
Chris Pratt.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
he's so like he's so. I'm thinking of you got me stuck on superheroes, so that's for it right now.
I got you stuck on superheroes. Okay, sure. All
Yeah,
right. So then you have to choose a job. So the 3 jobs that your friends have
sure.
chosen for you, and you have to choose a 4th. Piano bar owner, manager, and performer. Dairy Queen shift
Mm-hmm.
leader. Psychic.
Mm-hmm. Psychic. Um, Also a professor. A
Ooh,
professor.
I look
Yes,
fancy.
a
I
professor.
love that.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
so
fancy.
third category is where you'll live. So, first option is Staten Island. Second option is Berlin. Third option is Dodge
Okay.
City, Kansas.
Oh gosh. Uh, the fourth option would be Santorini.
Ooh,
Yeah, I had so much
I
fun
see.
there. I just like to retire there. Oh,
Well, I hope that you get that one. That one sounds nice. So the
yeah,
fourth category is cars. You got to have a car in order to be an adult. So the
okay,
options that
great.
are already on the table for you, there's a red DeLorean,
Yes,
a Geo Metro,
yes.
a VW Bug.
Okay. I'd like to volunteer Kit, the transformer computer car from the late or early 90s. Yes.
Obviously,
I think it
goals.
was late 80s. Yes.
All right, 2 more categories left, and then I'll get to tabulating the results. And
Okay, I love it.
Jeff Carbagallo in the audience wants to know, am I the only Mellencamp fan in the house? And you know what? That's the option that I put for you, Xavier. So if you get John Mellencamp, you have me to thank. So you're
I have
welcome.
you to thank. I mean, he's
He's a superhero, sort
probably
of.
like great. We'll make it work. I'll make it
Yeah,
work with him.
you'll
I'll
make
make
it
it work
work.
with Mel. I'll
So
make it
then,
work. Yeah.
uh, and how many kids will you have? And that's a very
Oh,
important question. So
yeah.
the options
Yes.
that are already on the table for you: 12,
Okay.
6, and 14. So how many kids
Oh
would
my
you like to
gosh,
put into
that's
the mix?
a dog. Can I say? I don't want to say negative, so can I just say
You're
dog? I don't
so
want to
you're
say.
so me in 3rd grade. I was trying to I would find every way to have 0 kids. But
Like, what's the zero? Also, can I change my first answer? I got caught off guard with the math on it. Can we change the first one, my boyfriend, to The Rock? Can we change it to The Rock?
that's a
Yeah.
good choice. So I'm gonna say yes, but that's the only time you get to do that.
Yeah. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I need to change.
Good.
I
Yeah.
forgot about the rules. I forgot.
You were flustered. You were flustered, and you just said Chris Pratt, which is
I was
understandable.
flustered.
All right, and then the last category, interestingly, is pet. So you can't say a dog because you already said a dog for your child. And then
Yeah.
the options that are already on the table for you are owl, opossum, and
Okay.
puma.
I'm going to add to that a uh ooh a snake.
Mm,
Yeah, I think
I
it'd be
love
cool
that.
to own a snake.
All right, so then the last thing, and then we'll get to the next act, is just tell me when to stop. I'm going to make a spiral that will help me dictate your answers. So anytime you want to tell me to stop.
Okay, stop. Oh, I'm so nervous
Ooh,
about
lucky
this.
number 13 is what we're going to use to dictate your answers. So I'll be tabulating that throughout the show. Don't worry, it'll come out completely accurate.
It will. It's the
And
lucky number 13.
yeah, yeah,
It's
you got
gonna
in
be
trouble with
extra
number
true.
13. All right, so our
Yeah.
first act of the night, because we've vamped for long enough. People have been able to soak in our
To get it
gorgeous
ready.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we were just bracing ourselves for a little chat with Lee Rayment and Nick Adams.
Oh,
Bring
we're excited.
them on.
Hello.
Hello.
Ah,
Nice to
Hi.
see you both.
Lovely to see you both.
I can't wait to see
what's
what
going on?
the fates have in store for you, Xavier.
Oh yeah, this is thrilling. I haven't played one of these in so many years. Oh.
So
Enjoy.
long.
We're all going to be on
I'm
pins.
excited. I'm a little nervous.
Pins and needles.
Yeah.
As long as I don't get the possum or it was the raccoon. Well, as long as I don't get that one, the rest I'm fine
Listen,
with, no
trash
matter what
pandas are
happens.
cute. I know they got little paws. And something I feel like possums. I feel like I was on the internet at some point recently, and there was something about possums. Maybe they were cute. I don't know.
No,
Maybe they
possums
were.
look like death.
Oh,
They look
I
like
think
death.
they look like that, but
Yeah.
they eat pests. They do something useful.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm
So,
sure.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
I don't know. I'll eat a pest if it looks good enough. Possums they got the tail. They're like big sassy rats. I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stand up for the only marsupial that is endemic to the United States. Okay, like just don't hurt on me.
Lee is a nationalist,
I don't
okay?
want to.
No, don't say that, Nick. That's not
Sorry,
true.
not on Twitch? Oh, okay.
Wow, this festival tour has gone off the rails. I feel like this is the only place to go is up.
Let's
right.
hope so.
All right, so Nick and Lee, thank you for joining us out of persona.
Yeah.
To talk about your show. So the first question I have is, how and when did the two of y'all meet?
Well, like any self-respecting 25-year-old white guys, we met producing a production of The Pillow Man. Lee and I share a mutual friend with whom I went to college and with whom Lee went to high school, maybe middle school, Lee?
Just high school. Just high school.
Yeah. And he roped me into a lot of endeavors, and one of which was we were going to do this summer production of The Pillow Man. And Lee played Curatorial brilliantly.
Thank you.
He literally had a show where it was monsoon season, so there was like a ton of thunder and lightning, and like as he was telling the spooky stories, it was like it was really great.
Yeah.
I've always said Pillowman is a great summer matinee show.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Light midday fodder.
It's just like I can set down my Danielle Steele for 2 seconds and watch a fun show.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great origin story for the two of you.
Yeah.
So what is the origin story for Dr. Eustice Sissy? I'd love to know.
The origin story for Dr. Eustice Sissy. I think, what's interesting is, Nick and I have been working on the show for, 3 years now. I can't even remember, but I kind of owe the genesis to him, but I even started writing it, developing it, or thinking about it before, joining with Nick. But he sent me an email at some point and was like, hey, do you want to go see Taylor Mack's, 24, decades of popular music history? And I was like, sure. I don't know who Taylor Mack is. I think this is a person I should know. I don't know. So I sort of like went with him on a whim, and we went to one of the nights. It was 1865 to 1896. I remember, and I was truly blown away. Like it was truly like a transformative experience of like I did not know theater could be like this, and it was so exciting and weird, and like the second hour.
I wanted to see that so bad.
It was so incredible. The thing I think about is the second hour, which I think was 1870, something like that. Taylor is talking about appropriation, and he's talking about The Mikado by Gilbert and Sullivan. He's like, so we're going to reappropriate their appropriation of Japanese culture. So we're going to take the Mikado and set it on Mars. So, all of a sudden, like everything is like fluorescent and day glow, and then the thing that still blows my mind is that they pulled some poor guy up from the audience, this poor plant, and this guy gets stuck on stage for an hour, a full hour. Clearly, he's got like a headset, and they're feeding him lines. I barely even could understand what was being said, but I enjoyed the hell out of myself. So much so that I actually convinced my friend to go back the next night, which was the next 3 decades, and like. Reenacting like the pogroms in Europe and the emigration to the United States by shifting half of the audience around the theater. Like as a male, I got conscripted in, World War I and had to sit on stage, and I made eyes with Ari Shapiro, and it was amazing.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor, for facilitating that. And it was just really this thing. I was like, oh, this like, what Taylor Mack is doing is like this is exciting to me in a way that I had sort of lost sort of like the spark in performance, and like that was the thing. So I think then I had this sort of idea, and I was like, okay, so like what is this cabaret character? And I kind of came up with this idea of like what is this evil person with a heart of gold, which was the starting point. And Dr. Sissy, and then my friend gave me the idea of his first name being Eustice, and I was like, that's it.
That's all I need.
That's all I need. And it really started from there. I, was thinking about things on my own, and then after sort of about a year of sputtering around by myself and being, I don't know exactly how to write a show. I turned to my friend Nick. I was like, hey, do you want to direct this? Assuming that he would just say no, and then I'd have to find someone else. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that was easy. Okay, cool. And now here we are, 3 years. We've written, I don't know how many different versions of this show now.
Yeah. 2 live shows, a podcast,
yes.
And coming up a YouTube cabaret.
Yeah. So it's taken us on this. I think the thing that Nick and I may be speaking wrongly for him, but I think the thing we enjoy the most is that we kind of start with this one place, but then the world around this character keeps expanding and expanding, and that ever forward expansion of this world, and like trying to create, as we say, some patina of rationale around these, decisions that we will spend several minutes too long, debating, be like, well, I don't know, does this make sense? And it's like, it doesn't matter, but like to us, it matters that it makes there is some rationale to this.
If it doesn't make sense, I'm not interested.
Right. It must be clear.
Wrong show. Sorry, Lee. We got a jet.
I love
Be clear to you. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I need to identify the characters as people that I understand. I
Yeah.
need narrative. I need like props that I have in my own home. I need relationships that resonate with my sense of reality.
Yes. And that reaffirm your sense of reality, right?
Oh, yeah. And just like digestible, like not too big, but not too small, but just that sort of like Goldilocks. Like I want to be comfortable, but not like too uncomfortable, but just like, warm, but like not too warm, just like really like lukewarm oatmeal, really just hitting that market. Hopefully we have managed to make things that are more interesting than lukewarm oatmeal.
What a promise.
High bar. Well,
Under promise and over deliver.
Would you like to introduce this music video that is part of your show that is Wednesday night at 9 p.m. The premiere as part of the Exponential Festival, Wednesday night at 9 p.m. The show is called Stiff Drink with Dr. Eustice Sissy. Fizz D presents Corona Cam Show. It is on a split bill with Leonie Bell, who is also showing some stuff tonight.
Yeah.
But I'd love for you to set up this this music video from your show.
Yeah. I'll just begin by saying that we had the COVID has made getting together in person a very precious and very valuable experience. And we had the great fortune and good health and proper testing from CityMD to get together in Lee's apartment and film with Fernando Gonzalez, who plays kind of the sidekick named Toby. And when we started writing the show, like we were like, oh yeah, Lee sings songs, and then this guy cracks a joke, and then it's back to the songs. And what has been so fun in the development of this universe has been like, okay, what does this sidekick character want? What does this sidekick character do? And we had some ideas, but then we encountered Fernando in the process of making the show, and like all good performers, Fernando really pushed us to make this, give him as much to do as we could. And man, did he challenge us. So in the context of the YouTube cabaret, which you can see on Wednesday on the Exponential YouTube, Toby is the assistant / personal assistant / interim producer / editor / nephew of Dr. Eustice Sissy. And because he's the editor, he gets to be a little mischievous when in the editing process. And he slips in a few original compositions into an otherwise normal dating show. And this is one of those, interstitial pieces by Toby.
I love it.
You invited me to your dance class. I could see your legs, I could see your ass. A guy asked me who I was there to see. I said you, he said lucky. I planned an epic date night for us. I made you kiss Cocona's. You told me your favorite one was Brazilian red, and that it went straight to her head. On Coney Island Avenue, we went to get funk like me and you. We saw purple dots by a trash can. People come on,
Produced by Toby.
Hello.
I'm muted. It's because I was trying to type into the chat at the same time as coming back on screen, and then I'm just like, I am 97 years old, and I don't know how to do
Well,
those.
you know, it's the technology.
Ugh.
It's technology. We all have new technology now, so we have to be way more techno. That was great. I can't wait to see their show. That was on Wednesday at 8:00.
Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Did I say 8 o'clock? It's at 9
I
o'clock.
might have said it. So
Check. Well, here's the good
Wednesday,
thing.
9:00, YouTube.
The good thing about all this techno crap that we have to deal with these days is that the website for the Exponential Festival is very accurate, as is our YouTube. But yeah, 9 o'clock Wednesday, January 13th, 2021, Eastern Standard Time. So much fun. So much fun. I could always deal with more ass, more boots and trash cans. I just got these boots today. Speaking of, they're silver. And I'm not wearing them because I'm sitting in my bed. And I don't wear my shoes in bed. What kind of monster am I? You know what I mean? I have before, but
Not
not.
those shoes. They're too cute.
They're too cute.
I love those. Those shoes are like, those are kicking in the New Year shoes. That's like, move the fuck out of my way, New Year.
Yeah.
Work, move out of my way, New Year's, move up out of my way.
Get out
What's going
of
on
there.
next, my dear?
Okay, so next
Get out.
Get out. Oh, we were warned. Next up is an outskirt. An outskirts show
Oh, I
is
love this band.
yes, where anyone who has been tuning into out of an abundance of caution is now a huge an outskirt fan, just like I have been
Absolutely.
for over a year. Since being like, do a show. And then I was like, I'm obsessed with you
I love it.
because you're so talented.
You're so much
And
fun.
so this is a piece that is not in their show. It's called Flammable. Their show is Thursday, January 14th at 8 p.m. And this one features Joy and Chai playing and creating and bringing us all into an amazing mental state in their home. So I will let
love
Lauren take it away. Yeah, get ready to like dissolve into the screen.
I love
Three, two, one.
Naghiling sa harayo nagtanaw kan bituon sa langit dari makusog ang paros malipot sa lawas kaipuhan kita mo malipot sa lawas malipot sa lawas kaipuhan kita mo turok sa banig ang turok sa banig malipot sa lawas malipot sa lawas sa bani. Ang turong sa bani. Malipot sa lawas. Ang turo sa bani. You knew I was flammable. 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 You knew I was flammable material, and you let me burn. Now silence follows me wherever I go. You knew I was flammable. I was flammable. I was flammable. I was flammable material.
Ah, oh,
I love that so
yes.
much. It's so like sensory. Thank you so much for Outskirt. I love that. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so
I
much.
know. I sort of become a puddle, and now I'm just like becoming a solid again.
I I love them so much. Outskirt, thank you so much for that. That was lovely. That was flammable. What else is going on, T-Town?
Well, we will keep on rolling. Next up, we have another act that is, you got it, performing this week as part of the Exponential Festival. And
Exponential Festival.
woo! Leonie Bell, the one and only.
Oh,
Ugh,
can't
and
wait.
Leonie, I apologize. I'm about to not be good at German. But the title of Leonie's piece is Eins träumte ich von dir, a maybe myth of runny nuns. And that is January 13th at 9:30 p.m. So it's right after Dr. Eustice Sissy.
So
This
keep on
Wednesday.
rolling with it.
And Leonie, you get the nuns that are promised. There are a lot of nuns. They're runny nuns. And
Okay.
Leonie is the nuns. And we're going to watch a trailer for that right now.
Oh, I love it. Some running nuns.
Cut! That was horrible. Do it again.
Okay, go now. I'm drowning. Okay, stop it, both of you. That's not funny. Be serious. Stop it. Stop. Okay. And can you stop crunching? Okay, let's see. Where's the go button? What's the go button? How do I make it record?
How long do we have to hear with Sister Mariana? Because this is ridiculous.
Sister Frida. Sister Frida, look alive. Wake up. Wake up. What is she, dead?
Can I have some? Can I have some? Can I have some? Can I have some?
Don't forget your local grandma.
Oh.
Oh, I
love
love that. I mean, I have a hard time logging into Zoom and people create, yet other people can create just such magic on here. Like, I'm just so excited for it.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. I'm baffled and amazed by the technical prowess of so many of the
oh,
artists I love.
Oh yeah, it's just so good at using the tools that are available, especially in this time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern?
I know what you mean, Vern. All of the people like under 35 don't know what you mean, Vern, because I don't, you know what? Because I grew up on Ernest P. Worrell, and I think that might be why I love just having one outfit that I can just have 75
just wear
of in my
over.
closet. But there's a whole
I would do a
generation,
jumpsuit with the same way.
right? I would do I would do his
Oh
all
yeah,
denim.
all day. I want just like a one-piece jumper I can wear all the time. Different
Mhm.
colors of the same jumper. I would take it. What's going on? What else? What else you got for us tonight? You're showing me
Oh
some
boy,
stuff
oh boy.
today, girl. Like, I mean, I'm seeing all of it tonight. What do we got? What do we got going on?
We're giving you all of it.
I'm getting
So
all of it.
all of it. Just all of it. We're just gonna give
All.
you all of it.
Ain't leaving
Uh,
nothing on the table. You know what I'm saying?
nothing
Yes.
on the table.
All of it.
If you
Nothing.
don't finish everything on the table,
You sit
these
here till the table, you eat the table.
yeah, you will stay here until the entire table is gone. I
All of
stopped
it.
myself
You
saying
eat
that.
all that table. All of it.
Eat all that table, god damn it.
All of that table.
You don't love me if you
All
don't eat
4
that whole
extra all
table.
L's in it.
Mhm.
If you don't eat the whole table.
I feel like that is also a popular saying that has existed forever that we're just referencing. Eat all of the table.
Oh, it is an American. It is a story that's passed down about eating a full table. Yeah,
Yeah.
some kid had
And
to sit at a table until the end
there
of
we go.
time.
Because he thought we were joking and found out later that we were not
He thought
joking.
we were joking, but no, thought so, but he's not. So you gotta tie it together.
On that note, up next is an incredible interview for another show that premieres this week. The show is The Puzzlers
Okay.
and The Puzzlers 2 Black Box by Accent Wall Productions, and it is this Saturday at 9:30. Saturday, January 16th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm
Okay.
super excited for it. And you're about to learn all about it from the interview. So I won't
Oh, there's a groovy interview.
it's a groovy interview.
Then don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil
I
it for me. Let's see
I
what's
would
going
never.
on.
I would never.
All right. All right. Oh, there we go. And we're rolling. We're rolling. Hey, everybody. Hi, my name is Chris Giarmo. I am coming to you semi-live from Kimberly Clark's beauty room here in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I have a fun little interview today with these incredible folks sharing the screen with me, also known as Accent Wall Productions. We have some folks that are going to be showing a piece at the Exponential Festival, which is next Saturday at 9. Their piece will be at 9:30 Eastern Time on January 16th. The piece is called The Puzzlers and The Puzzlers 2 Black Box. Please welcome Jess Barbagallo, Emily Davis, Lucy Kaminsky, and Andre Calo of Accent Wall Productions! I've watched some Twitch videos, so I know you got to hype it up a little bit. You got to really go for it.
I feel hype. I feel hype.
This is good.
I still don't understand Twitch.
It's like there's no need. You're fine just the way you are with your level of understanding of social media. We're good. So I'm excited. I just finally watched the second part of this piece. Very excited. I've seen it all now. It's incredible. I just want to say, what beautiful work, all of you. It's really, really great. And everybody out there, please tune in. I will also say that
please check out the piece before this piece. It is by Nathan Repasz, and it is called The Unquestioned Interiority of Humankind, a comprehensive corporate compendium of the corporeal and acorporeal realities of the anthrosphere, compiled by the Bureau of Conceptual Designation in accordance with the source code. That's at 9 p.m. on January 16th. Y'all are following up that. How does it feel to be presenting something at this moment in time?
Strange.
Yeah, a little strange. You're in a car right now somewhere out in the
I'm on the street now. I got out of the car.
Someone might watch your piece in a car, like in a phone, on a phone in a car. That's true, correct?
I hope they do.
I hope they do it while driving.
Yeah, please. No. If you're driving right now, just pull over. This is going to be distracting for you, just to say. So
I'm trying to model good behavior here.
Yeah, just pull over, take a break. Accent Wall Productions is a brand new company. Is this true? What is, Jess, can you tell me where did that come from? And which wall are you referring to? Is it the wall right behind you that you're...
It's the wall right behind me. Emily and I are broadcasting from our kitchen at 168. Don't tell people where we live. Great, that's it. Redacted. We're broadcasting from our kitchen right now. Really? Who's gonna come here? Come on, it's a pandemic. I think that in my memory, I think Lucy might have named the company actually. And this accent wall like only exists because there's some water damage underneath the painting you see there. I don't know why we thought this was such a good idea. Lucy, how did it come to you?
I think it was just one of those like free association, think of a name, it's a joke, it's a name, accent wall, done, you know, like I don't know.
Those are the best usually. That's pretty much,
and it's stuck, you know, kind of like making a short film in an apartment in April of last year.
Right. So that's this piece we are seeing is the kind of thing that launched this collaboration. But we all know each other quite a bit, and we've all worked together in various ways for a very, very long time. What is something about this piece that you are kind of excited about in terms of like, I don't know, this new connection that we have together? Andre, I mean, you're a filmmaker. There's plenty of, maybe somebody can pop in the chat some of Andre's films that some of us might be starring in on YouTube. But how does this feel for you? Because the piece is, as y'all will see, audience out there, it is this kind of interrogation of theater and what live art has become. And as a filmmaker, how does that feel to kind of engage in that from this kind of already, filmed medium coming in that way?
Well, I guess the idea was that, not making a movie, but making theater using a camera, right? But, there's a problem with that, which is that, the camera is a tool to make movies with. You turn it on and movies come out. So, like, we weren't trying to make a movie, but we made one. It's another strange thing about it was that I'm in Chicago, and I've been in Chicago the whole time, looking after this baby. And so they were shooting everything on their cell phones, and I was, trying to help as much as I could, giving hints, things like, if you're recording sound, do everything you can to just make it intelligible at least. And it was, we keep getting better at it. It's very strange to make a movie over the phone.
Yeah.
That was a new experience for me.
We didn't get better at it. That way.
Oh no, you can watch the thing and you can see over the course from the very beginning of the first part all the way through to the end, it gets much more technologically sophisticated until you get to the end. You're like, wow, these people are good at making a movie.
Pros.
Yeah.
I
mean, just to say, like, we're adapting Beckett's texts for nothing, you know, and you can find that description on the website. But early in the pandemic, actually, and I'm thinking about this because it like dawned on us. I think Lucy might have said it, but we, you know, when people were just like, I mean, I know people binge watch already, but I was all of a sudden like, oh, this is only going to be going on for a few weeks. What better opportunity to like watch all of the Criterion collection or something, you know? And so Emily and I watched Fassbinder's Berlin Alexanderplatz, which was an adaptation of this modernist novel by Alfred Doblin. And it was like a TV series that aired in Germany. And what's so remarkable about it as a piece of art is it's like, it is an episodic, but like each section of it has a really different aesthetic flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love, and we're by no means like the you know, I mean, we're not technical whiz kids here. I felt like an experimental theater artist who is like being like handed a material or a prop that I didn't know what to do with, and like had to like turn it over a whole bunch to be like, I don't know how to make a film. Like, how do you make a film? You know. Right. But which is to say though that like these first two parts of it thus far, I think feel like super different, and like maybe by the time we get to like the end of Beckett's 13th text, we'll have this like blockbuster.
So right, so this is only parts 1 and 2 of 13. So this is just a teaser, a mere taste of what is to come. And I think the interesting thing y'all said is you started this in April. Right? So this is like a early pandemic project that is carried onward. I mean, I love knowing that when watching this, because I think I mean, we're all artists who, imagine maybe people that are watching this too have been artists that have been doing some kinds of projects or various things. Like, what did you think at the beginning of this? Like you said, you only thought it would last for a couple of weeks. Like, and how has what actually happened, the reality of that, how has that changed the project at all? Do you think? Ems?
I mean, I would say that I thought it was going to last for a long. Oh wait, what's that?
Go ahead.
I felt like, well, I didn't know how long it was going to last. I thought it would be a long thing, and so it was like, well, I'm like in this pandemic pod with these brilliant artists. Like, we don't have anything to do. Like, let's make something. So it was just this really like wonderful opportunity to do that, and like have all this time to do it, and like figure out how to do it, and not be like virtuosic at it either. Just like we're learning as we go in a way. I mean, obviously, like with Andre, who has the most experience of all of us, like guiding us from halfway across the country.
Yeah, Andre is like a very skilled filmmaker, and who I have known longer than anyone in this chat. Andre and I lived across the hall from each other as freshmen at college, so we've now known each other for 20 years, which is like such an amazing, an amazing thing personally and emotionally, but also I've like remarked to everyone like that Andre is basically like in this meta capacity documented my entire adult life, which means that he has this really, really deep archive of like just like all of these like memories that have been like turned into like these fictions that are also not fictions, like in the films that he has helmed and in other projects he has helped me make.
It really
so that's been really special to like revisit that shit.
It's if I had known I was interviewing you before we started this interview, which
I swore I articulated that in a text message.
I would have prepped, like I would have, I think held the gravity and or incredibleness of this collaboration a little bit more. Like this collaboration that you're speaking of with you and Andre alone is incredible, but also like Emily, Lucy, I mean, you are some of my favorite artists and favorite performers in the world, and so this is really like, it's such an incredible project to witness and to also know where it's coming from, that you weren't like actors that got cast somewhere and are making a thing about theater and what it means.
I mean, I worked really hard to get that far.
I mean, I know. No, the emotional labor is real. That is not just, no. I mean, but Emily, like, okay, so I have a question for you as a performer, because I'm curious to see, because there are two parts of this. One was filmed months ago, April-ish, right? And then the second part was filmed slightly more recently, correct? Like August-ish, maybe? Or
as in like, no, like as in like a week ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
So like, as you will see when you watch the piece, there is a interrogation of what theater was, in an interesting way, potentially, without spoiling too much of it. But I guess, Ems, like, what has this kind of break from performance, or lack thereof, been for you as someone who, I know, like, you are one of my favorite people to see on stage ever, and so I imagine, as someone that is so good, this must be an interesting experience for you to not be able to be doing that. What has this been like?
I don't know, Chris. I think everybody's, I don't know. It's like such a big feeling, and then some days it feels like nothing, and then it's trampled and overshadowed by other things. I think at least I will say that when we got into the brick to go shoot around, spoiler alert, but when we got in there, it was like we were supposed to stage a few things, but then I felt like we got into this really deep improv, like Lucy and me and Jess, where it kind of felt like we were getting too into being back in the theater. Like we were just, I mean, it was so nerdy and so sweet and so like, something that I don't know that I mean, I haven't felt that way being in the, I mean, Lucy probably, and you probably felt this way too. It was just like a really, yeah, gosh, I don't know how to say it. It's just, it was cool. It felt really, really special to be there. And, I don't know. It's almost like it continues. There continue to be so many unknowns that it's like hard to speculate on what it like will mean moving forward. Like,
yeah.
But it doesn't.
If it does,
but you know,
if it does continue to be unsafe for people to sit next to each other in a theater space, I could see a scenario where people just go to the empty theaters and put on plays for nobody, just for fun, sort of like the way people will go into like a room in a karaoke bar and just sing for each other,
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
It reminds me of like what is the biosphere 2, where that group of people like were locked in a space for like 2 years or something, and they were really into theater, and they all just like made theater for each other and like for no one else. Like it was sort of for the experience of like doing that and like performance and like the importance of, I don't know, that practice, I guess.
I don't know about that. I mean, what you're reminding me of that Harmony Korine film, Mr. Lonely, where they put on the talent, where this strange like troupe of impersonators who include like a Marilyn Monroe impersonator, a Michael Jackson impersonator, and they move to a fantasy island and they like put on a talent show to sort of like save their town, and no one comes to the performance. And it's like it's extraordinary. Did I get that plot right, Andre? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, I believe so. I think that Harmony Korine is probably a good filmmaker to reference when it comes to the way that this thing was made, because stuff like in Trash Humpers, where it was all shot on old VHS cameras, and there is a quality of this that does feel very much like people who shouldn't be making something are making something, and they aren't really making it for anybody, or and it wasn't ever clear what the final thing would be when it was being made, even up until very recently.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I will say it's encouraging to hear even like a glimmer of hope of what potential of what our industry and or art practice could be moving forward. And so it's what you have made is a really kind of interesting like meditation on it almost of like where we are. It's fantastical, it's inspiring, but it's also pretty raw. Like the way you talk about the theater, capital T, I mean, it's just like you forget sometimes. I mean, it's amazing how easy, how short our attention spans are these days. And yeah, you've made like a film that's not a film. It's not a YouTube video. It's not a reality show. It's a theater. It's theater, but it's not. Yeah. Emily, can you please talk to me about Lucy's wig styling? I have a lot of questions about that.
I wish I could take like even just a little bit of credit for it, but I can't. It's a wig that's imbued with a lot of really we've worked together. I've worked with that wig before, and it was under my bed just waiting for the right moment, just waiting. And I really feel I handed it off to Lucy. I had a good sense she was going to work well with this wig, and then she has to take it from there. I really can't.
I mean, it was really, we were right on the line there, you know. It was really like right behind the hairline, really.
Yes.
But you know, we just made it work.
Always be making it work. That's
always. That's the Accent Wall Productions motto.
I mean, I'm thinking of like Andre. I'm thinking of you in this moment, like just like shaking your head, like as like the guy who runs the daycare. Cause like we have all this fun, like being like, let's turn cameras on ourselves and put on costumes. And then we're like, and we're gonna send it to dad. And then we send you this footage and you're like, okay, so can you just tell me what the logic is here? Like normally the visuals of a thing will like lead you to understand what the idea is. And Andre's like trying to sort through this footage, like what? Like Andre, I want you to answer this question and then maybe, I know we might be at time, but
couple minutes, yeah.
How would you describe the logic that you arrived at in terms of like editing together the scenes that we shot? Like what did you, I'm genuinely curious, how would you describe it?
Well, the way that you normally would do something like what we would, the kind of scenes that we were shooting, is that you would get like really traditional coverage, right? You get the wide shot, you get close-ups, and then you cut to people when they're talking, right? I mean, that's a really simplified way of talking about how you would cut a scene together. But because the coverage didn't really work for the purposes of like establishing people's relationships with each other in a space, and because the close-ups were like sometimes weirdly too close, or like sometimes an entire shot would get ruined by bad sound, or because there would be all sorts of reasons why you'd be forced to do a decision that you wouldn't normally make. And so it was trying to find the single way to get something useful out of what existed. Like trying to build a bridge across a river with sticks that you found in the woods. Like there's probably only one way to do it, and it's probably not a great bridge. But we survived. We didn't get eaten by a bear.
Bridge.
But that scene, but Andre, but your editing job is so beautiful. It was what was in my mind because it establishes this relationship between.
Well, this is the thing. I had to do like psychic communion and build this like telepathic bond, in order to figure out like what was going on in your head when you made these choices. And then I did, and then it turned out. So that's great. So it's possible for people to communicate telepathically. So that's nice to find out when you're making a movie.
Amazing. It sounds like this was like a challenge. Like it was like a bit of a task. But I find that almost all of the great theater that I've participated in has been about finding a problem and solving it in a creative way. And I feel like y'all did that pretty incredibly.
There's definitely no way to intend to make a film this like this. You can't do it on purpose.
I think that's sage-like advice for anyone trying to make art right now. That's a wonderful relieving way to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to wrap up, I will just, I guess, maybe give me a couple. What did Theresa say for adjective? Okay. Give me a three adjectives of feelings and or thoughts and or emotions that you would want a viewer of this to potentially experience. 3. Go for it. That will be 12 altogether. Let's do it.
I would say it's terrifying, psychedelic, and very funny. So I'm going to just say funny there. I don't have to say the very.
What would I want people? I mean,
Things you would be open to people experiencing.
Nostalgia, bitterness, a little joy. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm going to say comfort. Just go back to the word I started with, strange. And geez, like funny. It's funny. Laughter. That's not an adjective. Funny is an adjective.
Yeah.
I would say, so like I don't know if these are adjectives, but like themes.
Sure.
To impart devotion. A love of the mystery that is the city and the night. And like just like how essential it is to play and to pretend for everyone, I think.
On that note, I thank you all for joining us on this interview. And I will say to those watching out there, these are some of the most incredible artists you will ever meet, and they are being very, very humble right now. And I implore you to watch this piece. It definitely comforted me. It made me feel nostalgic. It terrified me, and it was very strange. And I am happy that you were all able to present this kind of image of what things were, are, and could be. And please check it out. Exponential Festival next Saturday. I love you all. You guys are the best.
Love you, Chris. Thank you.
We love you, Chris.
Thank you.
Love you, Chris.
Twitch out.
I love them. Whatever they're going to be working on, I love the energy that they have together. This project just sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, it's put me on the mailing list, as they say in the biz.
Absolutely. Make sure I can follow up with that. Absolutely.
It's such it's such a talented crew. It's interesting too that they've known each other for 20 years. You and I have known each other for over 20 years. Not to age us.
Isn't it funny when you hear people?
Everyone.
When I heard them when we were talking about that. It's so interesting. They were talking about, she was saying, I don't have something to do. Let's create something. And isn't that great when you have people that have that our connection of 20 years and such an artist background? You can kind of pull that energy into each other and kind of do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like you can create just from that energy and history of knowing each other.
Yeah, 20 years is irreplaceable. There's really nothing that stands in for a multi-decade friendship.
No.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, multi-decade.
Multi-decade.
And how is that possible? Because I'm 19. So
I know. Well, it's we've been like holodeck friends for that long, because time is different.
Exactly.
There.
Everything's different on the holodeck. Everything's different on the holodeck.
Everything's different.
Absolutely.
So up and next, we have Depali Gupta, who is one of the most beautiful singers and writers probably on the planet. I'm just gonna say that.
I got to hear some of the music before the in rehearsal, and I'm super excited for it. Depali Gupta, I love that name as well.
Yes, a beautiful, iconic being, Depali. So Depali's show is January 17th. That's next Sunday at 5 p.m. and it's called Perverse Reverie Forever. Perverse Reverie Forever.
And again, we can find
Oh yes,
Perverse Reverie Forever. And I'm excited. You can find all of this. Thank you right there at exponentialfestival.org or Googling on YouTube or the Brick website. All of it.
All of it. All of it. Just open the internet and yell into the void.
Into the void.
Yeah,
but I'm excited. Depali Gupta.
Yeah. So the first thing that's going to happen is Depali is going to perform listening to their song called Until I Spit Them Out, and then will perform a song that was inspired by this song. So it's going to be gorgeous. All right. So Lauren, whenever you're ready to do the technical wizardry.
have it on one song repeat, so it was about to just repeat again, which for any kind of song for me these days can happen a lot. But just once for now. I wrote that song until I spit them out in 2017 or 2018. Definitely, I think it may have been a part of my previous exponential show over reverberating, but it may have not. It may have just been written around the same time. Oh no, it was part of a different project that I made that year called The Poet, and then I brought it back into my work last year knowing that it had something to tell me. And it and a few other songs had a couple things to tell me. And that's been what the experience of making music has been for the past few months, is just writing these songs that I know are telling me something, but having little space to listen. But now I want to share a song that I'm writing today in the spirit of how I used to write songs sometimes in live performance, which was in front of an audience. So this is a new lyric, meaning that it's unfinished, meaning that I just started it today. And I'll just sing it. Speak to me about the difference between fog and mist and haze and smoke that hangs in the air for days. Speak to me across the distance between restlessness and stillness. I've been asking, will there ever be a path worth the time it takes to travel? I've been asking, will there ever be a path worth the time it takes to travel? And I've been walking away from the answer until I'm out of earshot, measuring my confidence in footsteps which get faster and faster until I'm just running farther and farther back to my mother and father until I'm safely lost in my thinking underneath this fucking weighted blanket. My every last nerve vibrating, the music resonating in my veins contains the hum from the earth's gyrating. And now I'm singing along with the song buzzing in my caffeine stained teeth beneath my sallow winter skin. What is the sound of what I'm stuck in? What is the sound of what I'm stuck in? Inertia in action, no friction or traction, just the fiction of progress. I direct my aggression at all the wrong targets. Even the act of agreement becomes a hostile exercise within the span of your gesture. Are these my best years? And is this the worst they have to offer? Are these my best years? And is this the worst they have to offer? Are these my best years? And is this the worst they have to offer? I leave it there, whether that's the end of the song or not.
I leave it there, whether that's the end or not.
Yeah, it sounds like a life phrase. It sounds like a life phrasing for me. I'll leave it there, whether we are there or not. I'll leave it
Yeah,
there, whether we're done or not. I like it. It's a kind of yeah, meditation thing.
exactly. Fantastic. So yeah, Depali's show is next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Perverse Reverie Forever. So amazing. So we're in the private chat in the StreamYard,
We're
and
gossiping.
we're gossiping as we do. And yeah.
We're gossiping.
And none of you know what it's about because it's a private chat. So
Just the way most things go, right? It's like you're looking over my phone. I try not to do that now on the subway, but now that I haven't been on the subway, it's good practice not to look over people's shoulders and be like, "What are you reading over there? What are
yeah.
listening to?"
What are you reading over there?
With the glasses.
I just try not to take the subway.
Oh God,
Hate it.
I know. Stay clear. Hate it.
Not a fan right now. Or
Hate
really,
it.
or really ever. I used to fall asleep on the train and end up in Coney Island like all the time.
Oh, I once, when I first moved here, got lost going to my girlfriend's house in Washington Heights, got plastered there, took the A train home, missed the A train, got to the airport, got back on the subway, fell asleep again, and woke up at 34th Street. It was a nightmare.
Listen, I think the moral of that story is we're lucky to be alive, Xavier. We've both fallen asleep on one too many trains.
Yes, 100%, 100%. It is totally, absolutely, absolutely that. My friend Brad got his glasses stolen off of his face drunk on the subway train. Like, you're just lucky if you get to stick around on it.
Oh my goodness. What a rude steal. Like, that's just rude.
I know.
Um,
It is true. More story, we're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, you know, that's why I got LASIK, so that people wouldn't steal the glasses off my face when I inevitably fall asleep on the train.
Yeah,
It's the only reason.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good reason to get LASIK right there. I think it's covered by insurance if you get it. You have to get it because of that.
Yeah, if your
But yeah.
reason's that sound, then they cover it.
Yeah, they have to cover it because insurance is great.
Yeah, insurance is great. When I broke this finger, it's true. I'm not. I
Yes.
broke this finger because it's the middle finger on
I
my
remember
left
that
hand. They wouldn't cover physical therapy, so I still can't bend it all the way. So that's how I can bend this.
Oh God.
That's that one.
They're like, you
Because
don't need that finger.
I don't need that finger.
Oh. Oh.
Well, at least that's
Oh.
what the insurance company told me. I told them differently. I was like, I need all these goddamn fingers.
Yeah, I know. I'm an artist. I need them all. You don't know if I play piano? Fuck you. Just like I need all my fingers.
Yeah.
What's next, my dear?
Yeah, right. Oh, I could just talk. We should just have a 24-hour show always, like the
We'll
Truman
do
Show.
like a Taylor Mac thing. I'm sure that it's going to be less interesting on my end, but I'm down to do a 24-hour show.
We'll put it in the books.
I don't know what it would contain. We'll put it in the books.
So up next is the Bureau of Conceptual Designation has taken some questions that they will answer
Okay.
from a remote location. So
remote
we'll talk about it a little bit more after. But for now, here's the Bureau of Conceptual Designation. Take it away, Lauren.
The Bureau of Investigation. Love it.
Transmit. Okay, transmission status active. Transmission status active. Okay. Good evening, folks. I am transmitting to you live from a secure location and a secret location. Full disclosure, I was taken into custody by agents of the Source Code Enforcement Agency. They are embodiments. They are pseudo-physical and pseudo-virtual, and they, after invoking serious restrictive censorship on yours truly for what is deemed to be radical liberation logic-related research, they took me in, and I was able to escape the custody. However, I am not at liberty to disclose my current location. It is in the virtual realm, I will say. I have erected several layers of security, but at any moment, there could be an intrusion or an extrusion. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm dead set on getting this information out at any costs. I will not stand for censorship, and I will not stand for the tyranny of the source code. I was pre-recording a presentation that will be shown on January 16th as part of a theatrical presentational festival alongside another performer named Jess Barbagallo, and I am extremely excited to dabble in an egotistical feeling. I am extremely excited. However, I fear that the consequences for what I've done may be far-reaching and hopefully will not hinder future research capabilities. However, it is extremely important to me that this information is made public. I have been soliciting questions on my research on more conventional social media application channels, and I would like to answer them tonight. I will have to be quick, and you'll have to forgive me for any stutterings or stammerings or otherwise pharynx or larynx related phonetic confusions. My language pack has been out of date for quite some time, but I have not been able to access the central mainframe for obvious reasons, custody and otherwise. Okay, without further ado, our first question is from a musical researcher named Ulrich Schwendener, who I believe resides in the Boston, Massachusetts area. He was able to get a message to me through Instagram, and he says, how do you, as a representative of the Bureau, respond to degenerates denigrating our semiotic structures? Well, Ulrich, this is an extremely prescient and relevant, and some might say pressing question, as we can see from the recent fascistic false revolutionary overtaking of the capital seat of the United States of America, which many in my field say is a failed nation state, a failed experiment, et cetera, et cetera. I hesitate to get too quote unquote political. However, we all know that when dealing with such simulations, the political is the personal, is the universal, is the reality, and to deny that is to deny truth. How do I respond to it as a representative of the Bureau of Conceptual Designation? Well, my responsibility is to conceptually designate things, to designate concepts. And I think the denigration of semiotic structures is not only a travesty and a tragedy, but it is something to be condemned at all costs. I think denigration is separate from questioning. And if one is to question semiotic structures, that is a healthy impulse. But to denigrate and to impugn and to change the reality of the ways in which we correspond and interact and interface, simply unacceptable. I hope that is a satisfying question. You can tune in on January 16th to hear me unpack some more of these issues and some more of these. Oh no, my light. Hello, can you see me? Okay. I think that there's a. Oh my goodness, there's the acidic cylinders known as batteries have been put into this illumination device, and I think that they're failing me. I have to be quick. Next question is from William Durney, who is, I believe, a mainframe activist who he actually has done a good amount of his own independent research into the ethereal and otherwise, extrinsic, intrinsic duality planes. He is talking about Roderick Schleemhauer, who is a thinker that we're all acquainted with and is someone that I personally have great respect for. And he was actually slated to be in the audience at the presentation on January 16th. I hope that he is still safe and that the recent crackdown from agential embodiments of the source code has not gotten to him. Schleemhauer's critics tend to argue that the dualism model underrepresents intrinsic etheria and is therefore biased towards phenomena with high extrinsic coefficients of permeability. Any response to those criticisms? Well, William, that is a fraught question. I will say it's a touchy subject when we talk about permeability, especially vis-a-vis etheria. I think extrinsic and intrinsic it is a duality which we can use as an axiom. However, when we're unpacking the dialectic therein, we have to be extremely careful. We have to be extremely, extremely careful. So I think the Schleemhauerian critics are not wrong. I am suspicious of anyone who is a Schleemhauer critic. However, I will reserve such judgments for a later date. I think when they are mentioning permeability in a sense of bias and phenomenological bias, I think that they actually do have a leg to stand on. But we must be extremely clear when denoting such liminalities and zones of, some might say, gray areas. I hesitate to say gray. I will say spectral. So I think spectral realities can be acknowledged within the dualistic model. I don't personally believe that there's an underrepresentation of intrinsic etheria therein. Second question from William Durney. I thank him for being able to get these messages across. He did send them with end-to-end encryption, which is absolutely essential if we want to avoid any sort of breach. Are you at all concerned about the socio-ethical consequences and or adherence to perfidiousness precepts? Oh my gosh. We have to be careful even saying that phrase. Concerned at all about the socio-ethical consequences and or adherence to perfidious precepts of discussing agency outside the confines of regulated symposia? Well, we all thought that our symposia were regulated and were immune to intrusions from external source code related agents, but such is not the case, as has been revealed in recent days. I would say, yes, extremely concerned. As you can see by my surroundings, I am basically in full hiding. I think that we all must be very, very careful, but we must not let the truth die. Drew Krasner, another musical researcher and an explorer of ideas and semiotics and semiology, and also ontology, has this to say. How do the recent findings by Rod, very, very influential researcher, a little bit on the cusp, a little bit on the fringe, but very, very sound work. No unethical, or should I say, irresponsible extrapolations made by Rod recently. He is very much on the ball. How do the recent findings by Rod regarding the Schliemhauerian oyster's new intrapermeable definitions of interior and exterior bear weight or extrusive effects on overall terminology distribution for the next 10 to 50 years? Drew, I will forgive you for not using the preferred terminology of cycles. Again, in the Ouroboros tinted model of universality that we live in, we do tend to say cycles. But again, language has a variable importance. Obviously, we will acknowledge that it is important, but in this case, perhaps less so. How do Rod's findings bear weight or extrusive effects on overall terminology? I think when we're considering intrapermeability, both of interior and exterior, I think that there will be an overall push towards centrality when it comes to terminology distribution. I think we will acknowledge the spectral nature of reality more and more, especially when it comes to issues such as biology, sociology, issues of gender study, issues of perhaps even cultivation, and even horticulture and things of that nature. I think that we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn from Rod, and quite frankly, I think his findings hold promise for us in developing a new lexiconographical horizon. Another question from Drew. Again, I thank you very much. These are high risk activities that these fellow researchers are taking in, and I think that at this point, the fact that our discourse is relegated to back alley secret virtual messages is a travesty. But again, I'm going to reserve judgment on that. In the unlikely event of a breach, reads his question, in the unlikely event of a breach of God's membrane, what do you hypothesize that would mean for the future of the source code's functionality in the corporeal interior? This is a radical opinion, but I will say that I believe God's membrane has been breached. I think we've lost sight of some of the initial research done by God. He was an important membrane resonance theorist. As we know, he developed the theorem. Oh my goodness, this is running long. It may have to be cut down for time. I leave that up to any and all people that are comfortable doing such activities. I do think that for the future of the source code's functionality in the corporeal interior, and again, I almost feel like I can throw caution to the winds here and say that the source code is tyrannical, and God's research may be interpreted by some as tyrannical, but I don't think that interpretation is correct, okay? Things are twisted and used to fascistic ends, and they must be stopped in their tracks. I think that the source code's effect on the corporeal interior will be minimized the longer that we can uphold the metaphysical realities initially explored by God, now being explored by such entities as the internet, and maybe even the grand simulation. Okay. Simply one more question, and that is from Instagram user at k.stowe, whose name I believe is Kayla Stoller, an old colleague of mine from the initial schooling days. We actually had a correspondence that begat a lot of very interesting initial questions, and although our paths have deviated geographically, we do remain kindred spirits. She asks, is mechanistic desire like when you want to have sex with a computer? It may sound funny the way it's worded, but yes, we all know that the corporealization of mechanistic desire is a ritual that takes place in both human and non-human, interior and exterior, corporeal and acorporeal realities, and it muddies the waters. Mechanistic desire muddies the waters, and quite frankly, if we are to usher in an era of cyborgism, of hybridization of ideologies, of absolute chaos, gnarl, consequence, etc., we have to consider the fact that sex with computers is a possibility and, in fact, a reality. I urge you to research teledildonics. That's TELEDILDONICS. Perhaps a little gauche for an academic context. But again, I'm in hiding. This hardly strikes me as an academic context. Okay, that seems to be all the questions for now. I apologize if I've gone over time. I think the maximum is 15 minutes for a transmission from a virtual location such as my own. Again, I am subject to invasion at any moment here, so I need to cut this short. January 16th, Eventbrite. You can purchase tickets. You're probably watching this in a variety of formats or one of many, and I appreciate you immensely for helping me release this research and information to the public. Again, tune in for admittedly a heavily redacted and censored version of my findings. Nonetheless, I hope to enlighten and establish a sense of solidarity among the masses. Good luck to you. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Spooky.
that was so spooky. And great.
Super spooky.
And
I love it. I love it.
dare I say informational.
Yeah, absolutely. The location had me stressed at first, but as long as he was safe, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The bureau is intact as far
Right.
as I know. So just to reinforce, Nathan Repasz is at 9 p.m. next Saturday, January 16th, 2021, before Jess Barbagallo's The Puzzlers and The Puzzlers 2 Black Box. So that is going to be a night of nights, and I'm very excited for that show. All right, so
Ditto.
it's going to be such a good night. Such a good night. So before our final act, well, we have one act, and then we'll reveal the results of your MASH, which I know
my
that
MASH test. We have our act.
people have been on pins
I'm
and
super
needles.
excited.
Yeah, pins and needles for
How will
hours.
I know what features entail?
I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think you're going to be very happy with your very true future.
Okay, great. I
Yeah.
love it.
All right.
What do we have next for?
All right, so this is our final act. Their show, Madge Love, is Friday night, the 15th at 8 p.m. This is a company, Fringe and Fur, who's one of the very few companies that got to do a full run of a show in the Brick during my very short tenure before things shut down.
I love
it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I saw it like 5 or 6 times. So I'm very excited to welcome Janae and Kelsey from Fringe and Fur.
I love it. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. All right.
Howdy.
You are the finale, just as the Lord intended.
That's fine.
And so we'll just dive right into some questions for you before we get into a little show and tell. Can you speak a little bit about the nature and content of the project and why Madge Love and what is it attempting to do?
Yeah, sure. So it should come as no surprise after the events at the White House this week that we live in covertly violent culture where violence from certain people is accepted with a great deal of nonchalance. And so I feel like that's a great setting to go into Madge Love, which is a story that speaks directly to the experience of two best friends, Sissy and Madge, both teenage girls who are directly or approximately shaped by domestic violence and sexual abuse. So Madge and Sissy form an unbreakable friendship. We see them fantasizing and dancing and eating and watching Belle de Jour and learning French and speaking French badly. And through that, we're also sharing a lot of what it is like to be at the center of navigating, attempting to get on and top of or being the objects of violence. So I've seen a lot of plays where these white men act a particular way, a very violent way, and we all watch the show all the way through, and we somehow come out feeling somehow empathetic towards their situation and their behavior. And here is a very different situation where you're immersed in the stories of two teenage girls, and they're building out and playing the men in their lives, or they're trying to, they're kind of creating their own reality and shaping their dream life. And, you know, that time period of being 15 or 16 is a very tricky one, especially when you're at the hands of certain conditions. So these girls are very much trying to figure out how to escape while knowing that their age alone makes them have to stay still. So that's kind of the view, the world of Madged Love. And then I guess when I was writing the piece and when we were talking about the piece in the very early stages, which was of course years ago, I knew that I wanted to kind of draw out like this traumatic subject who is as much a superhero as they are victims of their circumstances. So I didn't know how we would accomplish it in a theater setting, so I just held on to the material, but I wanted to give the sense of perspective, of hovering, of being very up close and self-conscious, and also that ability to transport. So moving, dreaming, escaping, creating in some kind of like Winnicottian absence. And so when we stumbled upon this platform called Echo, we thought that that would be a great tool that we could use to tell this story. And also knowing that we had the opportunity to be online meant that there was like a more one-on-one experience with the content, since it's pretty intense. It's very personal. It's a little bit of an auto fiction and ethnography about growing up in a small town. So I've always been a little bit scared to share it, but I'm happy to be sharing it at this festival where everyone is just very open and supportive. So,
well, that is, so, I mean, so much to digest there. But I'm glad that you found a platform using Echo that will allow you to do this. And that's sort of, you sort of led into the next question with that is, why Echo, and how did this work with the project? And, you know, I guess to some extent, what have you learned from using it?
Yeah, so Echo is a program originally designed as a kind of choose your own story program where you can interact with the video, click your way through, and it was very tied into the themes that we have with Sissy and Madge, especially when it comes to how we want the audience to interact with their stories. In the earlier stages, we thought about certain artifacts and interacting with those artifacts, and almost having the story unfold like you're looking at their diary. So this can really help move the story along.
And it was really tricky to go from being in a theater medium where you know exactly what your process is. So you know when rehearsals are, and you know who's the director, and you know who's playing what role, and expectations about time. And then, so what we attempted to do was, with the help of the Brick space and residency with Theater Me Too, we kind of approached it like I was putting on a theater show, but we did it like quick and dirty. So it was like 4 or 5 rehearsals, put up an entire play, tech it in a day, and then really passing it off to Dina, who has been doing most of the cinematography. And in earlier conversations, she and I would kind of plan out what we thought could happen. And then there was so much space in the script, since they're made in like a series of voiceovers, pretty long lyrical monologues. There's so much space to create that, like we love to create like this ambient environment with every show we do. And so how do you do that, kind of give that ephemeral feeling in a digital space? So Dina was really critical in creating those moments and being able to bring her work as a video designer into that. But it was definitely not without its trials and tribulations. And finally, we got through our residency. We got all of the content, every version we could imagine. And that's kind of when we decided, okay, let's try to figure out how this Echo program works and slide it in there. And it is it's working in my opinion, but I don't know what everyone else is going to think. And yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. Now it's just a series. It's been like Kelsey, Dina's editing every single day. I don't think she's ever looked up. Then Kelsey gets the footage. I made a storyline with all the footage that I knew that we had that could happen in the way that the script is scored. And then there's been room for negotiation. And then we start all over the next day. And then we go back through all the footage and we see what needs to be shifted. So you still get that narrative flow. You still get this very dense experience. And then you have this interactive component.
I love it. I love how much we've been peeking behind the curtain of like cinematographers and filmmakers working with theater people and being like, what are you doing? Also something magical and beautiful coming out of it. So as we sort of get into the last question, which is what do you want the audience to experience or what do you think that they might? Kelsey's going to do a screen share and show us a little bit of how Echo is used. And it's really exciting because again, I am not a technical wizard. The things that like Leonie and Fringe and Fur and like everyone's becoming an unintentional filmmaker this year, and I am living for it. So show us even further behind the curtain, Kelsey.
Yes, I'll give you a sneak peek. So as you can see, everything, these are all of our scenes that we filmed, and we can rearrange them and connect them through these certain webs. So this has been really fun and interesting. Now, one of the really cool things about Echo is that you have these buttons that pop up on the screen, and then you can click the button and see something else. If you click a button, for example, if I scroll down here during the scene that we call TikTok, if you click one button, you'll go to one other scene, and if you click another button, you'll go to a different scene, giving different perspectives, especially when it comes to learning and understanding the perspective of both of these characters. So
yeah, and I think that's really important to the kind of way that we're talking about violence and the way that it impacts the person. Like I've noticed in my own personal story that it's always very hard to know if I'm really telling the story completely. I feel like I'm always writing around the edge of it or alluding to it. And so I don't know that, I mean, in some places it's very explicit what happens to who in the story, but for the most part, we want to create that fractured feeling of attempting to articulate something very difficult and too big to describe. So you do get it in these little clips a little bit more, or you do gain a little bit more emotional information about their internal landscape that they're navigating.
Exactly, and the example that I'm going to show is how we utilize seeing more of the character's internal landscape. So I'm going to play this scene now.
I love this scene. Also, this scene, I did steal the text only in this scene. Normally, I steal everyone's text in all my plays, but this is from the movie Julia, the film with Jane Fonda, where her friend plays Lillian Hellman. I changed the words a little bit.
I am
Kelsey's the volume up?
So I hope everyone was able to hear that.
Well, that's one of the weird things of StreamYard. I think it's like the screen sharing, the sound sharing, the levels, the blah. But you know, the good thing is now people are enticed, and now they need to show up for the show Friday at 8 p.m. And I'm super excited for it. And
Yeah, I
the
can't wait
visual.
to see what it sounds like. Friday, 8 p.m.
Yeah. It's yeah, leave them wanting more. My doctor always said.
That's fine.
But yeah, I'm super stoked, and I love looking at behind the back end of things and being like, how do you make that though? I always want to know. And then when I see it, I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, and
But
that's
it's cool.
the thing about the piece also to mention for users is that you might need to watch the piece more than once to get all of the content, unless you go backwards, and there's only a few places that we let audiences go back. And you can't go forward. So watch it once, watch it twice, you get all the content. In this iteration, you're only following one storyline that branches off into a few different moments where you see it. But in maybe a different iteration, we would follow a Sissy line and follow a Madge line.
I love it. I was always one of those sneaky little jerks that, I'd order all of the Choose Your Own Adventures from the catalog at school. And then I would just keep my finger in place just in case I didn't like the outcome. I never did it right. So it's good to have rules to be like, get your finger out of that holding spot. You don't get to go backwards. Just choose your adventure and go.
You don't need to download the app. What you'll do is go to the Exponentials YouTube page, and in the description we'll provide a link. But first you'll get to watch a little intro video to take you there. And then we'll list all the directions there. So it should be easy.
Yeah, so you'll go to the YouTube page, you'll see what is actually in the script, the opening scene. You'll see that there'll be a list of instructions and the link, and then that'll bring you to our website where you'll watch the entire thing.
Yeah, and the instructions are up on the Eventbrite, the Exponential site, pretty much anywhere that you can find out about the shows. The information about how to get there is there. And one of my favorite things that I'll mention before we get to Xavier's hotly anticipated MASH results is that, trying to figure out nudity on the internet for performance has been tricky. Twitch doesn't let us, YouTube doesn't let us, assholes. So this is one of the best ways so far to be like, not going to stop us, YouTube. We'll start there, but then it will make the art that we want to make. And
it is good to mention that there is some nudity and some violence in the piece.
Small enough.
Always good to mention.
A little bit. The play was much more like everything was changing clothes. So there was just a lot. I'm glad that in the end we decided to just keep all the medium shots and not any of the large theatrical format ones, because I was like, no one's ever wearing pants.
Classic.
Sorry. We've all been working together for so long, I guess it's like slumber party.
Yeah. Listen, I want to live in a world where I don't have to wear pants.
I mean, we kind of do. You don't have to, as long as you're only filming from the top up on Zoom.
Exactly. Spoiler, I'm not wearing pants. But I am constantly wearing glasses, as many as I want. More glasses, less pants, 2021. So now we're so excited, Madge Love, but now we have to tell Xavier what's going to happen in his life.
I hope John Hamm.
At the edge of my head.
Here are the results. You are going to marry The Rock. Thank goodness you changed it.
Thank
that's
goodness.
hot. I'd pay for that
Yeah,
only.
I'm down with The Rock.
Good.
I would have been so
So-
sad with anyone else other than The Rock.
You know what? You chose The Rock and you got The Rock. You know, I
Yeah,
feel
The
like
Rock.
that was important. And the good thing is The Rock makes good money because you're going to be the Dairy Queen shift leader. As your job. And you're going to
Hey.
do a great job.
I'm gonna do it. I will tell everyone the milkshake machine is down. That's the only going. I can't make milkshakes tonight, but I have everything else. I'm already ready to go.
Dilly bars for days. Get your dilly bars here. Go somewhere else for your shakes.
Exactly.
Then you're gonna live in Staten Island. So
Okay,
you know,
this
taking a
gets
jump.
harder and harder to deal with. All right.
Just hold on, baby.
All right.
You're gonna have a
Rock.
Geo Metro, a very sensible car.
If I'm in Staten Island, I need a sensible car. So
Yeah.
or a Hummer. I don't know which is more correct for Staten Island. I don't know.
How do you
We'll
get
learn.
by boat
We'll
or by car?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like,
No.
how do I even get there?
Then you sort of dodged a bullet with getting 6 kids instead of 14, but you're still gonna have 6 kids.
I mean, they'll have to fend for themselves, but I can do with 6. I mean, they're not. I mean, we're adopting clearly, so it's fine. We'll just
No,
adopt
you and The Rock are
one in
making
foul swoop.
sweet babies. You and The Rock
Get a
will make
whole
it
roll.
together. You're gonna have a pet puma, so those kids
Yeah,
will watch out
great.
for that pet puma.
Great. With
I feel
6
like
kids, I can feed it 4. So,
Yeah, you'll be like, listen, you wanted this puma. If you're not mature enough to take care of it, then the puma's gonna
it's gonna
eat
eat
you.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
You
That's
better take this
exactly it.
puma on a walk and clean up its poop, or it's gonna eat
Survival of the fittest. Whoever survives the puma.
you. That's the kid you love the most.
Yeah.
And so, last but not least, you'll live in a house and you'll be rich.
I mean, I'm with The Rock and I got 6 kids and a puma. I would hope so. I mean, that's a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
So
Listen, sometimes, marrying The Rock doesn't automatically mean that you'll be rich,
not with 6 kids. No, they take
When
it.
I married The Rock, well, I'm excited for your future, Xavier. I think that it's bright.
I'm excited. I'm excited for my future, getting to see all this great stuff next week. I'm excited for my future.
Yes, more immediately, I'm excited for this next week of Exponential. It's going to be an incredible week. I can't wait to see everyone in the chats and to choose my adventure with Fringe and Fur. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm really excited.
All right, so we've made it past 2 hours. Share this episode with all your friends, because they want to watch the magic
Tell
that
the
happens
world.
tonight. Scream it from the mountaintops. And we'll be back next week at 8 o'clock with Out of Abundance of Caution for episode 44.
Love it. Thank you. The 44.
Mm-hmm. Love the
Bring it up.
44.
Thank you so much, Fringe and Fur. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you, Lauren Miller, for making everything work. We love you.
Thank you, Lauren. We love you.
Lauren's in there. Lauren's in there. In there. Lauren's in. Oh, where is my camera?
And
Here
thank
it
you,
is.
our viewers. Thank you for hanging out. Love it. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's weird. Fingers
You.
look really weird.